Maria. That's my Starbucks name. I picked it because it's easy to understand and rolls off the tongue beautifully. And as I am of the Latin X persuasion, the name fits me. And let's be real, 50-50 odds that any random Latina you meet is named Maria. My real name, this four-letter word, I-R-M-A. I know, it looks like Irma to some of you. And that is one pronunciation of this name. But the name that my parents gave me is Irma. How about I teach you how to say Irma? I have lots of professional experience. I was a teaching assistant at the Department of Modern Languages, University of Notre Dame, the football school. This is how I put myself through law school. To learn to say Irma first, you need to smile. Yes, holding that smile, say E. Now, Irma. You are smarter than my Notre Dame students. We all meet people with names that we have never seen or heard before. It is always okay to ask someone to help you get the pronunciation of their name right. My husband says, give them this hint. Tell them to think of earmuffs. My sensitivity about names starts in South Texas when I'm a muchachita with my favorite uncle. Tío Otilio is married to my mother's older sister. Any guesses as to my aunt's name? Maria. Now, the name Otilio is not difficult, but it's not very common. 5 letters, O-T-I-L-I-O, 3 syllables. I'm going to teach you how to say it. Repeat after me. O. T-Lio. Otilio. Easy, right? We so look forward to their visits. And we race to the door. Buenas tardes, tíos. Muy bienvenidos. Pasen. A couple of times a month, they would make the 28-mile drive from their hometown to ours to pay us a Sunday afternoon visit. Tío was always so nicely dressed with a guayabera, pressed slacks, y botas de cowboy. A tall, good-looking man with salt and pepper hair, trim bigote, and skin the color of pecan shells. Un hombre guapo y distinguido. And they always brought a box of freshly baked pastries from the Mexican panaderia. Inside, my favorites, empanadas, filled with sweet, spicy pumpkin, and marranitos, sometimes called cochinitos. For those of you who aren't familiar with Mexican pastries, marranitos are gingerbread cookies, but we bake them in the shape of pot-bellied pigs. Thus the name marranito. En la cocina, my mom made coffee for the grown-ups, and we kids got a special treat, chocolate mexicano, which she frothed with an old wooden batidor. We knew the visit was over when Tío Tilio stood, put his hands in his pockets, and pulled out his nickels, dimes, and quarters, and gave them to us kids. Gracias, tío. That was our spending money for candies, chips, maybe even to see a movie. One day, we stopped at Tío Tilio and Tía Maria's house. It was the middle of the day, and just as Tía was greeting us at the door, we heard the loud rumble of the big company truck that Tío drives delivering gravel. He had come home for lunch. While the grown-ups are talking, I look at Tío's shirt. It has a patch on it with letters, and I'm 6 years old and just learning to read. So I sound out the letters T-O-M. Tom? In the car, I say, Papi, why Tío's shirt says Tom? Porque that's what they call him at work. Do people have different names at work? No, mijita. It's that the Americanos can't say Otilio, so they call him Tom. But White Tío doesn't teach them how to say his name. Ay, Claudio, esta niña tan preguntona. Why she always asking so many questions. Ay! Bienvenidos a Alice. Welcome to Alice, Texas, my hometown. Yes, like Alice in Wonderland. Population 18,000. And more than 70% of us are Mexican American. The rest are Anglos, which is what we call white people. Now, Alice isn't a suburb of some big city. It is a standalone South Texas town 90 miles from the Mexican border. We have 2 parochial schools in Alice. St. Elizabeth's on the north side, that's for the Anglo children. And we attend St. Joseph's, 100% Mexican American. Alice is as segregated as Birmingham, Alabama. On the north side of town, on that side of the railroad tracks, is where they have the nice air-conditioned brick homes with green, grassy lawns. In nuestros barrios on the south side, we have modest wood frame houses. The streets are paved, but we don't have sidewalks or nice parks. But these are vibrant neighborhoods full of good people. I was about 10 when Alice got its first public swimming pool, and they put it here in a park in the north side of town because no Anglo parents could be expected to take their children to a Mexican-American neighborhood. Although inconvenient for our families, we loved our swimming pool, and we begged the grown-ups for rides. Por favor, queremos ir al swimming pool. Llévenos al swimming pool. Niños, sálganse. Se van a poner prietos como un charol. My mother's warning, get out of the sun or you'll turn dark as patent leather. I grew up hearing messages that it was better to have light skin. Ay, comadre Esperanza, did you see Carolina and Pepe's baby? She's so pretty, tan güerita with light skin. She looks like a gringa. They are so happy with their baby. By summer's end, I'd get really dark. And sometimes when I put on white clothes, my mother would say something like, Muchacha, cámbiate ropa, pareces mosca en leche. She wanted me to change clothes, saying I looked like a fly in the milk. I detested that expression, mosca en leche, and I wouldn't change. And my favorite form of spite against this color prejudice was to stay out in the hot South Texas sun, getting darker and darker. Take out your catechists and books. That's Sister Purificación. Yes, Sister Purification. She lets us call her Sister Puri. Our teachers are nuns from the Philippines, brown women from a colonized nation shipped halfway around the world and hell-bent on turning us into their idea of real Americans. And they speak with heavy Tagalog accents. For years, I thought that lettuce, the leafy green vegetable, was pronounced ledus. Now, I like school, and I am a good student. But catechism is so boring. I pretend that I'm taking down what Sister Puri's saying, but really, I'm making a note for Rosa. And when Sister Puri turns to face the blackboard, I give Rosa the note. Only Sister Puri is walking straight towards us. Rosa, give me that note. Do you wish to read this note to class? No way, because in that note I wrote in Spanish, I think Sister Puri is wearing a bra underneath her habit. Spanish, not allowed. You will be fined 1 nickel. But Sister Puri, that's not fair. The rule is that we can't speak Spanish. You never said there was a rule that we couldn't write in Espanol. No more tokbek. Now, we kids know English, but Spanish is the language of our home and what we speak with each other. And no matter how much they punish us, we refuse to give up our Spanish language. I couldn't wait to leave St. Joseph's, and fortunately, there was no Catholic high school in Alice. So starting with 9th grade, everybody transferred to the one public high school. And a few weeks before our 8th grade graduation, the 6 kids in my grade visited the school we'd be transferring to. It was so big, with hallways with so many classrooms and hundreds of lockers, and it had a gymnasium and an auditorium and a library. And it was the first time that we had ever been in a classroom with Anglo students and an Anglo teacher. Listen up, everybody. We've got visitors from St. Joseph's Parochial School. They will be your classmates next year. And before we ask our friends to introduce themselves, let's give them a big Texas howdy by waving at Jesus and Angel. Come on, boys. Behave. Come on, everybody. You're in this classroom, so let's wave. I am a dark, scrawny 13-year-old. I'm a year younger than my classmates because I've skipped a grade. The girls are sprouting breasts. The boys with quacking voices tower over me. I'm a self-conscious, nerdy pipsqueak. And the Anglo lady, the teacher, she's looking at me. How about you? Can you tell us your name? Me, teacher? My name is Irma Herrera. My classmates introduce themselves, Rosa Vega, Jorge Luna, and we walk back in silence to the cars that brought us until Rosa says, "Why did you say your name like that, tonta?" I don't know. So that the Anglo people understand, that's how they say my name at the doctor and dentist office. And that was the last time I mispronounced my own name. Thank you. Thank you so much. You saw the truncated version of the first 15 minutes. It comes into contemporary times, including discussing how demonizing groups of people can lead to such terrible consequences. So it's been rewritten, and the play brings us to the killings in El Paso at Walmart. So if you're interested in my play, check it out. I have a website, and I'd love to perform at your venue. Thank you so much for coming.